Hey, so it's been a little bit since I've done one of these. You can call it lack of motivation, or you can just call it I haven't. Well, that's not true. I've known a lot about what I want to talk about for these videos, but it's probably just lack of motivation. Let's not lie to ourselves here. That's what. Yeah. Okay, I'll stop rambling. Sorry. Anyways, uh, the reason I'm making this video is because I kind of discovered something important about myself today, and it's that I've been tackling a lot of problems in my life the wrong way. And I'll explain what I mean by that. A problem I thought I had was that I was super extremely introverted, and that it was causing me a lot of issues. Well, the real problem is not that I'm introverted, but it's that I'm extroverted. Now, let me explain myself. So, the reason I thought I have been just super introverted up to this point is because I would get nervous before I even started talking to people. I would be standing around, I would feel super uncomfortable, and if I wanted to say something and I just couldn't, it made me just so extremely worried and nervous. And gosh, um, I felt miserable. It just made me feel the worst in the world, and it was something that I kind of dealt with and just held into myself without really exploring what that meant. But when I was at a convention yesterday, it, no, was it yesterday? It was Sunday. Yeah, it was Sunday. So, yesterday, I was at the Midwest Gaming Classic. A lot of fun. I really enjoyed it there. I had been going around and I met this music creator, a video game music creator. He does DJ work, Matthew or Theology Music. And I had just gotten a chance to actually talk to Matthew. I realized that the source of my anxiety was not when I was, you know, about to talk to someone. It was when I couldn't say anything at all. That was what was really getting me. It was that I was holding myself back and that I was just preventing myself from actually talking to people. Sorry about that. And wow, that it's just completely different to what I thought the issue really was. I thought I was afraid of talking to people. What I was really experiencing was stress from denying myself from talking to people. And those are two very different things. If you don't know what the source of your anxiety is and what is causing you to worry, what is making you super uncomfortable, it is going to make everything just horrendous for you. And that's why I thought it was just so important to make this video. Obviously, not everything's going to iron itself out immediately, because at the end of the day, I did kind of start talking to people 12 years later than I should have. Whoopsie. But, but, knowing where that problem lies, what is making you uncomfortable, what is giving you that pain, what is just really eating you up inside, and not misinterpreting what the issue is, it's going to make a big difference into how quickly you work towards solving your problem. And all of this, it only started because I just wanted to make a difference after I had gone to Anime Milwaukee, and I really enjoyed being there. But I was just so afraid of people, and for the first time in my life, I really decided I want to change that. So I went to the Midwest Gaming Classic on my own, and definitely not because I wanted to meet a coffee guy. No. Yeah, I mean, it was a dumb reason. He recommended it to me, and I said, why not? I really enjoyed going to this little coffee kiosk at Anime Midwest. Roast coffee, by the way. Not like I'm advertising. And I also got a tea turtle shirt. This one says, me sarcastic, never. Well, yes, I'm sarcastic. I've probably been sarcastic like 6 times already, and we're 5 minutes in. Ugh. And you probably have to deal with horrible audio quality too, because I had my hand covering up the microphone, or at least half covering it. So you probably couldn't hear anything. whoopsie, I'll have to do something better because I mean I enjoy doing this, and it bumps me out when I was just ignoring it and I was letting my lack of motivation hurt me and my own processes that I should be doing and enjoying. But the whole point of this is that really, if you don't know what the real problem is, if you're misidentifying an issue and you think you've got everything right, but really at the end of the day, you just are totally missing what is making you feel pain and what is making you feel anxious. Of course, you are never going to be able to solve it. Maybe you'll get close sometimes. Maybe you'll find good ways to cope with it. I found that by being able to interject sometimes and only speaking up when I felt that I would be the most successful, I thought that I was actually, you know, finding a great way to be able to cope with being an introvert and finding good times to talk things when I would know I would be super successful with whatever I'm saying. When I would make people laugh, when I would make people feel more comfortable, when I would be able to support people better. I figured that was just me being me to the best of my ability. And that's wrong. That's so truly wrong. I was just finding coping mechanisms. I was, at the end of the day, if I'd looked into a little bit more, if I just really thought about what that meant, if I had thought about the fact that, hey, I'm enjoying talking to people. Isn't that strange? Isn't it just a little bit strange? Uh, then I might see this pattern within myself that I love talking to people, and that when I go out to hang out with my friends and I express like wanting to go to bars and stuff and wanting to go to conventions, those aren't typically introvert activities. At least wanting to actively go to them of my own will. I'm sure there's a lot of introverts out there who actually really like going to conventions and they like seeing all the different cool things out there, but they just don't enjoy the social aspect of it so much. Or they, like many introverts, enjoy the social aspect but need time to go and relax and spend time on their own. And they really only want to spend time with people that they love being around. Like, I really spent a lot of time going around and just spending time with my friends because, that's what I loved. And I could have been an introvert. Maybe being an extrovert is a new thing for me, but I think at the end of the day, I was just an extreme extrovert rather than an extreme introvert. And but by denying myself that key crucial point, the ability to go and talk to people, that I was hurting myself, and I was hurting myself in a way greater way than I could have ever imagined. So, yeah, it's a really, really big shift internally. And I think as I externalize this and as I go and actually live a more extroverted life and I try to talk to people more and I get more used to that, then I am just going to make a huge difference in my own life, and that's going to trickle down to everyone around me because I'll be more comfortable with myself. I'll find myself more motivated. I'll see myself as just a happier person, and that'll that'll really help. But I have made a lot of leaps and bounds this year. I've gotten more comfortable with myself. I've gotten more comfortable just being me. My room still a fucking mess, believe it or not, but that's okay. I'll get it cleaned up because I'm moving soon anyways. And oh my gosh, I should mention this too. I'm moving in with a couple of my friends, Kenyon and Dylan, because really I love being around people. Wow, isn't that weird? If I was an introvert, why would I want to go out of my way to go and live with other people who have their own complications? And I would need to keep everything around me way tidier. I I bet there's a connection there. I mhm. I see it all. I see it all so much more now. And why was my group in high school always to find more people to be around instead of focusing on stuff like my family members? Why was I always so concerned about wanting to join a club? Why was I concerned about wanting to, make YouTube videos? Even when I didn't have anything I was particularly passionate about, I won't lie. It's not like I had some hobby that really drove me to go and say, yes, I love this so much that I want to share all of this to the world, regardless of how I feel personally. Whether I'm terrified of creating content, whether I'm terrified of putting my face out there to the world. Uh, Why would I want to make YouTube videos then if I had no motivations for anything other than saying, yeah, I just want to make content for people because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make content for people. I didn't want to make content for me because I wanted to just introduce other people to myself. I wanted to really show my personality out there and entertain people, make people feel special. And I, I'm embarrassed. I can't believe I didn't realize this much, much sooner. But once again, I realized this like I'm 22. I'm going to be 23 soon. And I started socializing 12 years later than most people because I was just super bitter towards the world. That's in my previous YouTube videos, so go check them out. No, but seriously, you should really consider if you're having struggles with something, if you're in a lot of pain over something, then I really want you, I implore you actually, to really evaluate what the source of that issue is and see if you can find any commonalities, any trends. And I probably could have figured this stuff out so much sooner if I'd gone and seen a therapist and talked to them about it. Of course, that would require me to, be better at communicating. And you can do that. You can actually learn to communicate while you are going through therapy. And maybe you don't find the right therapist. Go find another one. Go try another one. You never know what everything is going to turn out like. Also, new haircut. Thank you very much. I like it. So, yeah. Gosh. I know that's a lot for 10, 12 minutes here. Um, Outside of that, I will give a few updates with my life. At first, I wasn't so confident talking about a lot of this, but no, right now, while I'm just in the groove, feeling it, we'll run through them all. I'm honestly very sad right now because my great grandma. Sorry. Yeah, she passed. We have the funeral in a couple of weeks, and I'm not ready for it. But hey, I we go through loss sometimes, and while this might be the first person I'm losing who I'm closer with, and I know each one is only going to get worse from this point, and they're only going to be people I'm closer with. It's just, it still hurts a lot because while I wasn't as close as I would have liked, I do have a lot of really positive, happy memories about her. So yeah, there's that. That hurts a lot. Financially, there have been a lot of things that were causing me problems. Let's just say I don't want to. God, I'm sorry. Probably sound really fake right now. Just because I was talking about my great grandma, but I've had I've had a little bit of time to process it. We'll move on. We'll move on from it. Um, Focus up for a second. Sorry. Genuinely sorry. No, I'm apologizing for stupid stuff. I shouldn't do that. It's been a lot. I mean, I went through a lot of self doubt this month, and I'll give you all the rundown, I suppose. Sorry, I've really slowed down my pacing here. About a month ago, one of my friends went through a lot of financial trouble. Two of them, actually, because they live together, obviously. So that when one's in financial trouble, so is the other. I didn't want either of them to get evicted, so I threw $1,700 their way. And yeah, they didn't get evicted. Great. They're going to have to move out anyways, though, so they can get to a better and more stable financial position. So they're going to just find a new place to live. That's good for them. Very good for them. Good for me also because I don't have to foot any more bills when I'm struggling to do it myself. I'm not some perfect person who can deal with anything and deal with any problems, even though I try to be there for everyone. Financially, it's just a lot. It's really difficult to support more than your own person, especially when you have stupid expenses like when you decide to buy a car for no reason. I like it, of course. It wasn't for no reason. I wanted a new car. I didn't want to deal with the bills associated with my old car, and I never wanted my old car to begin with. So, yeah. It, so I decided to buy a car, and I bought a brand new one because I think it's cool to have a new car, even if it's only once. And I might not ever do it again. I don't regret it. But it means I get to help the people around me less, which there's those trade offs. But I mean, that started off just a really difficult string because my great granny, um, I learned that her cancer was just eating her, and it ended up doing so 2 weeks ago. Maybe it wasn't even 2 weeks ago. It feels so long. I don't. I'm not going back and checking my text for that though. Gosh, um, but that was just so difficult, and I had told my best friend at the time, and I don't view him as my best friend anymore because of how much the situation hurt me. But I mean, I should have known better. I know what kind of person he is. I know he doesn't know how to deal with this stuff. I know there's so many people who are better with it, but it made me realize that I can't call someone like that my best friend. Even if I trust him with everything, that doesn't necessarily mean that makes someone your best friend. There's more to a best friend than whether or not you can trust them with all of the secrets you have. So much more to having a best friend than that. They have to be emotionally there for you. And not in all situations, of course. You can't just throw all of that weight on a person. You have to be considerate of their position as well. That's what friendship's about. But when I really needed that person, they weren't there for me. And that hurt a lot. And I I went on a really, really bad spiral there for a moment. And it put me in a very negative situation emotionally. So, I mean, I got up, I dealt with it, and I somehow struggled through it. I talked to two people about it. It actually made me really open with a lot of stuff in my own personal life. So I guess there's positives to everything, no matter how painful the situation was for me. But that's okay. We get through these things. We always do. That's so important to know. Because I'm here now. The first 13, 14 minutes of this video talking about how I'm in a better spot, talking about how much things have actually improved since my last one. Yeah, but it hurt a lot. I told my best friend that I needed someone to reach out to me. I needed someone to be there because of how depressed I was, how much I was hurting. And that person just wasn't. They didn't even reach out to see how I was doing. It took like a week and a half, I believe. It could have been longer, it could have been shorter, but we'll say about 10 days for reference, for them to even ask how I was doing. And it was just an "Are you alive?" That hurt. That really hurt, believe me. But it made me kind of reevaluate some things and understand that I was asking too much at the time, and I also didn't have enough of an understanding of him. So that's on me. It broke some illusions I had, and at the end of the day, I'm a better person for it. No matter how badly it hurt that someone that I trust that much wasn't willing to reach out to me, even for a week after I told them how much I was hurting and how difficult it is to reach out to another person when you are that sad and to be that open with everything I was feeling at the time and get no return. That sucks so much. But hey, um, whatever. We deal with these things. We get through them. That's who we are. We're awesome people, all of us. Um, and then I'd been dealing with a lot outside of that. Like, I hate to admit it, I'm not going to really be close to as many people in my family as I want to. I'm the oldest of 12. My dad, there's a high chance that he gets remarried, even though he's had a really rough history. I hope it goes well. I hope he ends up being very happy. If he decides not to remarry, great, good for him. If he decides to remarry, that's also fantastic. I just hope the person that he is with right now and my dad remain happy, whether they go their separate ways or whether they end up deciding to remain together, or maybe they remain together and don't get married. I don't care. I don't care. I just want them to be happy. But that could mean I'm the oldest of 16. And when I'm already starting to have one niece, it's going to get much more insane. I'm not going to be able to be close to all of my 11 younger siblings. And if there's four more, I'm not going to be able to be close to all 15 of them, let alone all of my nieces and nephews that they are sure to have. And I'm not going to be able to be as close as I want to with all of my parents. And I won't be able to do that with all my grandparents, my cousins, my uncles, my aunts. It's just not possible. And I'm aware of that. I have to select some people to be closer to, some people to be more distant with, and that's just the way things are, and that's okay. We'll make it work. But I still haven't decided on all of that. But it has been painful, and that was kind of going on in the background. And then, well, while this was also going on, related to the start of the video, um, I had actually been hurting a lot trying to deal with this idea that, I mean, I to an extent have imposter syndrome. If you don't know what that means, it is when you don't believe that you are good enough despite all of the achievements that you have, despite everything that you have accomplished. I somehow ended up believing that I just I wasn't enough. But that's all right because I know I am. Despite what my brain was telling me at the time and what it does tell me, I am more than enough. All of us are. And we, whether it's through luck, whether it's through our own abilities, whether it's through our connections, it just, we accomplish it. It's us who does the things that we do. But hey, I mean, I know that. I know that, but every once in a while, when things get really rough in my life, I can forget that. I can let it overwhelm me. I can let it hurt a lot. Um, on top of that, I had been really worried about how my Asperger's is just affecting my life and how I had been hurting a lot, dealing with this idea that I'm never going to be good enough or I'm never going to grow out of the person that I am right now, that I'm just going to stagnate and then I'm going to fall apart and grow worse because I have a condition. And I said Asperger's, but you can say on the spectrum as well. Who cares? Whatever. I mean, I care, of course. And of course, some other people care, but I'm not going to sit in it. I'm not going to wallow in it. I barely tell anyone about either of these things. But whatever. Um, And then I just worry about my family's health, of course. There's a few things I won't go into there for just the sake of brevity. But I mean, this all happened while my great grandma was dying, and that was a struggle. I'll be honest, that hurt a lot. That made me think a lot of really bad things that I hadn't thought of in a long time, and I'm sure you get the idea of what those were. And I worked through it. I'm a very strong person. Because at the end of the day, I figure a lot of things out on my own. That's how I grew up. That's how I got used to things. And I'm growing. I'm getting more used to the network of people I have, the friends I've made, the acquaintances I have, my coworkers, my boss, my parents, my siblings. I get more comfortable. I realize what I can share with them, what I shouldn't share with them. And it's all a lot. The point is, it's been a really difficult past month. It hasn't been a particularly easy past since I made the YouTube video either. There have been good things, there have been bad things. Really stressful. But I just want you guys to know I will be back. I will be returning. I will be doing a lot more because I'm more confident with myself now, and I've realized I have a lot to teach, I have a lot to learn, and I want to be there. I want to be able to share that with all of you. I want to be able to go through that journey. I want to be open with it because maybe it'll help someone else, and that's what I'm all about. All right. That's all I really wanted to talk about today. Uh, Thank you guys so much for sticking around. I mean, if you are actually still here at this moment, you really do mean the world to me. I cannot describe how much it just wow. I'm so honored that you would stick around and listen to me ramble for 27 minutes now. 27. That's wild. Thank you. I you no. I make this all worth it, and you also make everything worth it for yourselves. But I wouldn't be making these if I didn't believe someone would watch them, or if I didn't believe that it wasn't valuable to myself. And I think both things are true. I think there is someone out there who will get value from this. I think there is someone out there who equally will find me to be a fucking dipshit and asshole. That's cool. Do things for yourselves. Make yourselves happy. And that's what I want to say. If I'm of some help to you, wonderful, awesome, amazing. I could cut things out. I could push you guys away. I could be disingenuous. I could do any of that. I'm not going to. The point of this video here is that I'm a genuine person, and I believe that everyone out there is, at the end of the day, someone worth talking to, someone worth sharing your joys and passions with, and your pains, and everything. And the first step to really trying to have everyone be more open and sharing and caring is to take that initiative yourself, and that's what I'm doing. If you feel inspired, go buy someone a coffee. Say something nice to someone. If you're getting angry with someone, be more understanding of their situation. Take a second to understand that everyone struggles, everyone goes through hardship, and at the same time, don't be afraid to share that with the people that you're talking to. Ask them to explain more about what is hurting them. Have them explain their position more. Maybe you can learn something from it, even if you disagree with it at a fundamental level. There's just so much out there. But if I'm completely open with you, maybe that will inspire you to be more open with the people around you. And that would be a dream for me. That would be the coolest thing ever, because then I would make a real impact to someone other than myself. I'm going to keep making an impact to myself, and that'll be awesome. Great. Before we hit 30 minutes, I am leaving. Goodbye.